What's going on, everyone? Gilman with Wellthy Stocks, back with our daily Apple update video, ticker symbol AAPL, where we take a look at how Apple stock traded today, key levels of support and resistance that we are looking at moving into the future. And we'll also take a look at a decent amount of news related to earnings, related to price targets. So pretty jam-packed video today, so make sure to stick around till the end. Hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, comment down below what your thoughts on Apple are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. Let me go ahead and hit record, and we'll get right into the video. So, not a great day for Apple. You guys remember yesterday, after hours, right? We got great earnings and Apple stock was shooting up. Gave up all of that, matter of fact, ended the day a little bit red, continuing that downturn in the after hours. That was the case with other big techs too, like Microsoft. Google was strong after the earnings they had. Amazon right now is killing it too in the after hours after the crazy quarter they had. But a lot of other stocks were red too, right? So Apple, gave up everything and then some from where it closed yesterday. We're back below and kind of right at a support level. So what happened? Let's take a look real quick. First things first, let's cover earnings. I covered this yesterday, but pretty much what we got was a $90 billion in share buybacks announced. So that was great. A dividend is increasing by 7% to 22 cents a share. So that's great. I talked about this in more detail yesterday if you want to check out yesterday's video. And then, EPS was beat by a big amount. Revenue was up 53% year over year. Absolutely insane. iPhone up 65%, services 26%, other products 24%, Mac and iPad, you guys, 70 and 78%. Absolutely crazy numbers there. Gross margin 42 versus 40 expected. So everything shattered out of the water. The one thing that Apple did not do, they did not issue official guidance for what it expects for the quarter ending in June. This is something they've done for the previous few quarters as they are approaching kind of uncertainty related to COVID is what they're kind of quoting here, right? So it's not crazy. We expected that. Apple shot up yesterday, clearly gave all that up. So why did it give all those gains up, right? If we take a look at this article here, we're talking about, revenues and profits far greater than expected. Every product line was doing really well. 7% dividend increase, 90 billion shares. And also we got a dozen analysts raising their price target for the stock ticker AAPL, which is Apple, right? In terms of results, right? And so what the heck is going on, right? They had these crazy growths, but so what is going on? They're talking about now the numbers being too good. What does that mean? Creating difficult comparisons in every business category fiscal 2022. He predicted that revenues will be slightly lower in fiscal 2022 than in 2021 and warned that something worse is possible. So what are they saying? They're pretty much saying, hey, iPhone sales up 65%, Mac being up 70%, iPad being up 78%. All of that is going to prove to be, not good a few quarters from now when we're comparing it to this higher quarter. One thing that we have to understand is a lot of the sales we've seen in Macs and iPads were led by the pandemic, right? More people working from home, more people going to school from home, which led to a greater kind of demand in some of these electronic goods. And so what they're saying is, well, now if we take this year's revenue, try to compare it next year, we're probably not going to see even close to the same growth, but we might even see a decline, which makes sense. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing, right? I'd rather have one crazy good year and then a few years normal after that than having a continuous of like normal growth. And I'm talking normal growth, but I mean good 15, 20% growth. So what they're saying is Apple will forecast revenue growth of about 32%, or not Apple will, but they're projecting 32% growth, but FY22 can be very tough. That's what they're talking about, you guys. So that's what they're saying. They're talking about a decline in the top line in fiscal 2022, but some other analysts are more upbeat, raising their price target from 153 to 180, and they're saying, hey, matter of fact, they could sell even more Macs and iPads once this chip problem is resolved, right? So you got people on both sides. Depends on what side you're on, right? I'm bullish on Apple, always have been. So I think, Apple will recover from this, and the dip today will get bought up. It might dip even more. I'm not saying it won't, But I'm saying long term, we go higher from here. And I don't think that, that's necessarily something to really worry about. This article talks about something similar, right? They've got supply chain constraints. And again, Apple's booming performance during the pandemic could mean tough comparisons later in the year and beyond. Sure, again, but I'm not necessarily saying that that's a bad thing, right? That's where I kind of disagree with them. So we got JP Morgan upping their Apple price target to 165. Revenue and earnings forecasts have been increased as well. So again, 165 from where it sits today, 133, nice little upside. Morgan Stanley also 161, and you got dozens more, right? I could pull up so many more articles of people upping their price targets, mostly kind of 150s, 160s, I think even as high as 170s in some cases. Because they really killed it with earnings. But like I said, a lot of others are saying, oh, this might be bad for us down the line for comparison purposes. So it depends on kind of where you stand. As you can see here, you guys, we pushed up nicely into the 139s, and then we were kind of flat in the 137s, and then right out of the gate we fell, and we fell hard. We stopped for a second at 136, we stopped for a second at 135, but we pretty much kept going, and then stopped, and then went as low as 132.45. Perfectly bounced there, right? 132.45, 132.52, 7 cents away from where we bounced, pushed up, VWAP rejection, and then ended the day weak. So ended the day weak, I didn't like. Ended the day below VWAP, didn't like. Continuing to fall below VWAP, I didn't like as well. What I do like, I guess, is this 132 level held as good support. So what do we have coming up in future levels of support, future levels of resistance? So this was the breakout that we were looking at, you guys. We pushed up, and for a while there, we couldn't really break 135s, right? So here, 7 or 8 days, we could not break 135s. Finally, in yesterday's after hours, we went above 135, which, I mean, looked pretty good, right? But then, as you can see today, we again closed below 135. We fell below it real fast. So not really excited about that, sadly. So what do we have coming up from levels of support, levels of resistance? Our first level of support, you guys, is exactly where we bounced today. Well, I guess here 133s. But if we see more red, like we've already gone below that, 132.52. That's our first level where we bounced today. It's been a decent level of support for us over the past few weeks. And then 131.45 where we bounced kind of late last week as well. That's what we're looking at from levels of support, you guys. On the upside, again, 135 is going to be that hard level of resistance. It's that level that, we struggled with for 8 days before, broke above it briefly, but as you can see, clearly below it again. Then 136.05 before we get to kind of the 138, 140 range. 138, 140 was kind of the upside I was talking about with Apple stock, which we did get a little bit right in the after hours. Unfortunately, though, could not sustain it and fell, which is relative weakness. But RSI is still 57, so maybe there's more downside. And then tomorrow's Friday, which typically is not best for Apple. We see a little Friday fade. On the other side, S&P hit another all-time high. Stocks like Facebook, Amazon, Google are all doing really well, which is pushing some of these sectors up. Candle looks pretty nice too. Nice recovery after the push down. Apple's candle does not look nearly as good, but hopefully we see a turnaround here. My goal for tomorrow is maybe we settle between 133, 135, and then next week we start to see, where we establish our base and start to push up. But yeah, hopefully you guys all did okay. I know some of you guys held options through earnings. Hopefully we were able to get out of that in the morning before it kind of really tanked on us. If you had options, that's the thing about options is you can't really trade them after hours. So you couldn't really sell it when Apple was at 139 for a little bit in the after hours yesterday. And then clearly it didn't hold today. As always, though, I continue to hold my Apple shares. I've got that call still going out to June. I should have probably sold it, but didn't, was away from my computer at market open. I've got, so the 130 covered call that I had expiring tomorrow, I moved to the $131 call expiring next week. I think I had to pay like 5 cents for that. So that was great. I just leave the order in and whenever it happens. So I went from 130 this week to 131 next week. So it's essentially gaining $1 of value for 5 cents. And if Apple is, in the low 130s, which yesterday my covered call looked busted when Apple was at 137. But as you can see, that's the beauty of covered calls, because you can make money when the stock, comes down, right? So hopefully you guys are taking advantage of that as well. But yeah, that's all I had for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to my channel, comment down below what your thoughts on Apple are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.